Do you know that the answers to all of your problems and all of the world's problems are in the New Testament of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? What's on my mind right now is when Jesus said, "The birds have their nests and the foxes have their dens, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Brothers and sisters, we're not meant to be domestic. We are meant to work. Not as cattle for somebody else, but in love for one another and for this planet. We are meant to be in motion, creating, improving, tending. We're not meant to be idle on the couch, in the bed, playing video games, scrolling the internet, watching videos. This is not right. This has led us, as just all people, this has led us into schizophrenia. Schizophrenia literally means the division of the mind from the body. So here's something that I suggest to you, brothers and sisters. If you can go be in the woods, go get in the woods. You know, this domestic life inevitably leads to depression. As opposed to look, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do here. If I lived here, I'd pick up all these sticks, I'd organize them to the side. I would remove the pine needles so that there's just dirt in the space where I would spend my time. And I'd uproot the freaking poison ivy. And then I'd have to build it, and I'd build a shelter. It's easy to have done it before, just with the down trees in these woods. And then it's just the next thing that needs to be done. Feed myself, feed my dog, find water. And these things are easy enough, especially when you have a group of men. And then you could store things. Think about a population of men and women, families. What is life like for people who just live on the heath? Heathens, if you will. The heath is the wilderness. There is no distraction. There is just the immediacy of life. The moment that we're in. How do we get to the future? What do we need to do to make sure we don't fail? Well, whenever we live in a house or an apartment, I'm not saying go be a homeless guy or an outdoorsman, as my dad likes to call them. But you need to have a greater purpose. And if you find yourself distracted with video games and television, you might not have a greater purpose. If you're a father or a mother, what's the number one thing to do? Raise your children, right? What does that mean? What does it mean to raise your children? Well, I'll tell you the first thing. Other than the obvious things, here's the most important thing that people don't think about when it comes to raising children. Your children are going to start to experience emotions that they don't understand, and they will be confused and they will be hurt. You have to teach them about their emotions. You have to teach your children how to behave, how to think. And you have to talk to them about difficult things that are not easy to talk about, and to help them understand their emotions. Because if they don't understand their emotions and they don't know how to behave, then they will be traumatized. And that's what this world is good at doing. The world we're in now is traumatizing people. So we're all domesticated. We spend our time wastefully. And we become depressed, and we don't raise our children. And our children are living in a world that is more evil than it was for us. And parents are indifferent because they're preoccupied with their pleasure. So think about if we were living in the woods, in the wilderness, and we are facing the animals, and we're facing the weather, and we are concerned with food and water. If we spent our time jacking off and playing games and just sitting there for hours, is this a survival strategy? Brothers and sisters, you need to have a survival strategy. Now, it's difficult in this world, being beholden to money. Here's a suggestion. Don't be beholden to money. Look at this boy. Oh, there you are. Wait, you gotta see him. Where'd you go? He's just running everywhere. Hey, my bud. Don't worry about the money, as far as a job is concerned, take the best opportunity that you could find. And don't be afraid of taking a new opportunity if it's better than what you've been doing. Ew, this freaking guy, you slobbered all over my legs, dude. I'm wearing shorts. Ew. Okay. But don't obsess over money. I loved money. I used to make 10 grand a month selling cars. And then I was forcefully made poor. By what? What forced me? Circumstances. I've tried to make a lot of money again. And my life got better when the money went away. I found Jesus sometime after that. If you're concerned with the material world, material is dead, by the way. If you're concerned with the material world, are you concerned with the spiritual? Well, what is that? What does it mean to be concerned with spirit? The Spirit of God is thought. It's your mind. It's the thing that recognizes patterns and anticipates stuff and says, all right, we got to get ready. We should do this. We should do that. Let's create this. Let's take that down. And it organizes and it creates. That's the Spirit of God. When you don't have that, you're idle. And if you say that you love Jesus Christ and you worship him while you're idling, then you are become an idol worshiper. So here's an exercise, brothers and sisters. If there are woods, especially if you're depressed, go get in the woods. Really, everybody, go in the woods and look around and say, what would I do? How would I change the woods? All right, God made the plants and animals, and then he put Adam in the midst of them and said, take care of all this shit. Or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. So it's not for us to just watch things go wild. And it's not for us to domesticate ourselves, just to tend to the world. Go clean something, brothers and sisters. Go organize something. You need to think. Just go and don't just idly think, though. Sitting down and thinking is the same thing as sitting down and going to sleep. Okay, not necessarily, I know. My point is, be active while you think. Be doing something that requires constant thought. And I don't know, I'm just loving this example of cleaning the woods. The reason I haven't done it yet is because it's been hot. So I've made excuses. We all make excuses. And I've been in the mood to do it, but I haven't done it. Look, there's a lot of downed trees there. Because I want to do it with my sons, because this is something that I want to teach them. And we've done it before, but, we're going to take this and we're going to put it in a pile. And this is a nice round spot right here where these trees fell. I quite like the spot over here with the grass. I think what I'm going to do, so we're just going to stack these trees to the side, maybe cut some in half. We're going to bring them to the front and set them on fire. But the ones that are not rotten, most of them are rotten. Some of them are good and they're not rotten. And we're talking about whole trees, small ones, but trees nonetheless. And these can be cut and used to build a structure. I wanted to show you all the grass, and then I started walking in the opposite direction. It's kind of because I want to show y'all what something my sons did. They're 8 and 10, and they are always asking for an axe. And I'm like, no, Daddy ain't getting you no axe. So then my parents got them both a hatchet, of course. My objection was just that we have nothing to cut. Well, I was mistaken. We do. So one of them cut that. This is a big tree, and it needed to be cut. And my sons, and it had started, it's somewhat rotten, so it was easy for them. But they were able to cut this thing into 2, 4, 5 pieces. Now that's good. That's a good use of thought and of energy. As opposed to doing the same thing in Minecraft. Come in the woods and let us clean the woods and cut the lumber and make it a nice place to be. Here's our relationship to the earth. It's ours. And it's for us to make it a nice place to be. It's not for us to cloister in our house and create the most aesthetically dope digital environment for us to look at. We care so much about aesthetics and cool stuff. How about something practical? Pop culture. You know what the word pop means? It comes from populous. It just means people. So the culture that a lot of people are into. What is that culture? Is that a culture of preservation? Is that a culture of survival? Is it a culture of service? No, it's a culture of consumption, like a cow or a pig just consuming, be it food of all sorts of bad food, but it tastes so good. Or media, cartoons, grown men and women who play children's games and watch children's shows with no morality, who laugh at degrading and disgusting things. That's because they have no connection to this thing called Logos. Logos is God, is thought. They have no thought. They are reacting to external stimuli, right? Stupid jokes, cool aesthetics. But they're not thinking. And if you mention God to them, they'll probably laugh, make some snarky comment, thinking that, oh, God, you're sky daddy. Dude, it's called thought. Like, you scoff at the notion of thinking. Okay? But here's the thing. People have convictions about things that they've never witnessed themselves because they don't think. Because we're brought into this world in sin as children, and then we're supposed to be taught by our fathers and our mothers how to become men and women. But that scarcely happens anymore. Now we're shown by our fathers and mothers what the coolest video games are, what the tastiest food is, and what the coolest music is. And you curse together, and you smoke and drink together. And I just imagine if you took all these people and you put them in the woods. And I think one day that's more or less going to happen, There will be there already has been a societal collapse. But the day is coming, it's coming fast, when we're not going to have electricity. We're not going to have water run to our houses. And you're going to have a lot of selfish people and clans and a lot of loners competing for resources. So what is post-apocalyptic? Okay, so first of all, apocalypse means when you find out. It means revelation. So the idea of freaking rat snake. I'm not afraid of rat snakes, but whenever a snake moves near you, before you identify it, it's a cause for alarm. I guess not a cause for alarm, but but the alarm bell goes off, and then you're like, rat snake. Okay. Anyway. So, forget about what I was just saying. Whenever the grid goes down, when it all goes down, I was talking about post-apocalypse is reverting back to living in the woods, but in the landscape of a suburb or a city. The same pattern of behavior. We have to scavenge and hunt and collect resources. The world that has been made now, the way people are, there's going to be a lot of suffering and a lot of competition. But if we just loved one another, if we followed Jesus, if we just all followed Jesus now, because there are already people living like this, The post-apocalypse has already come for a lot of us. Did you know that there are already people who live on the street and sleep on concrete and who scavenge for food? I urge you, brothers and sisters, start living for other people right now. Because you can't afford to be selfish. Or you think you can afford it, but it's an illusion. The money is an illusion. The life that you have built is an illusion. It's an illusion. Love one another. We're going to need one another. And we do need one another. So, I guess in conclusion, get over yourself, go in the woods, and make it nice. And then whenever you leave the woods and you come into the world made with human hands, as you pass through it, make it nice. If you do these things, you will raise the morality of the people who encounter you and the things that you do. And you could start a trend. A trend called love. What if love trended all over the world? And it ain't a feeling. It's putting others before yourself. I mean, we've covered a few things in this video. The problem is that you are domesticated. You are like a hamster in a cage with a wheel and a water bottle and a dish. And you've accepted it. But in your heart, you long to be doing something different, don't you?